Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of Sibling Showdown, our weekly Wednesday Best Ball Mania live draft. We will be getting into, ADP movement, what we're seeing on Underdog, and of course, a live draft in just 1 minute. Welcome back to Sibling Showdown. I'm laughing because I look like a pirate. I just had one earring fall out right as the intro is going on. So anyways, welcome back to Sibling Showdown. I'm Meg. You can follow me at Meg08DFS. I'm, of course, joined by my sibling, my brother, Steve. You can follow him at SteveOSpeak. And sorry for the bumpy being late. That's all on me. I apologize. Just staying up at my family's house. I'm a little delayed today. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for jumping in with us. We are, of course, going to be doing a live BBM 5 draft together, and Sibling Showdown. It's not a showdown between we're both drafting against each other. We're drafting together, and the showdown is more maybe some debates over our picks. But Steve, how are you doing today? And you ready to rip another BBM?
Doing well, and maybe the earring thing is a sign we should be drafting Buccaneers.
Maybe. I mean, I definitely had the Buccaneer one earring look going.
Yeah, so we go for Mike Evans stack, Rashard White, Chris Godwin.
I was going to say, let's just get them all. Kate Otten, Baker. Let's just do it all. I like it. I'm down for that. That's great. Anyways, if you're joining us in the chat or watching this on replay, please be sure to like this episode, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. We are doing at least 4 drafts, live drafts every single week here on the FanSpeak Network. We're also doing strategy shows. Andrew and Justin had a great strategy show. Check it out Monday. I believe it was, I'm losing track of our episode numbers, but it was a couple episodes back. Check that out. They talked about late stacks. Last week, I did a kind of lessons learned strategy show. Steve and I are going to be doing weekly strategy shows. We'll have one up here tonight. So you got strategy shows, you've got live drafts. And then, of course, you can check everything out on fanspeak.com as well. We have plenty of articles for free. Steve's rankings are up on fanspeak.com. So be sure to check all that out. Now that's out of the way, Steve. Any crazy before we jump into the draft, any crazy like ADP movement that you're seeing, anything that you're trying to react to this particular week? I know you just adjusted your rankings on FanSpeak yesterday.
Yeah. So, I didn't adjust, some of the big things that were in the news this week were, of course, like the Keon Coleman comments that Brandon Beane made, some of the Vidal comments for the Chargers, and those I just didn't roll with the same because I did not hear what I think a lot of people heard. The Keon Coleman comments I thought were very, kind of milquetoast, kind of what you'd say about any young rookie receiver. Like, yeah, college playbooks aren't nowhere near the same as the NFL. That's why there's a challenge for any guy. Let's not forget just a couple years ago, Jamar Chase, the camp. I mean, not just the reports at this time. I mean, the reports, 2 weeks before the season that this guy couldn't catch a football,
right?
And he was wide receiver 3 of the year. So, and same. I mean, we've heard, down things. We heard down things about Jordan Addison last year. We heard down things about, and he was the best rookie of the first round rookies. We heard down things about guys like Garrett Wilson and Drake London, Jahan Dotson, Chris Olave, all had good rookie years. George Pickens, absolutely blew the doors out of the water from all those second rounders. I mean, guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and, of course, Sky Moore, who was total dust. It was George Pickens. So, sometimes these reports are just whatever. And there's still plenty of time. And Brandon Beane also made the very sincere point that he's working hard with Josh Allen to get on the same page. And that's all I care about.
Yeah, I think what we learned last year, and first of all, if you're not already following Coach Speak Index, you need to be. It's obviously a great source, and I saw that he's launching a YouTube channel, which I'm really excited to check out. Absolutely excellent resource that we're hearing from these coaches, but what we're probably looking for is a constant drumbeat, not like one quote here, one quote here. We're looking for a constant drumbeat on positive or negative on a player from the coach's mouth over and over and over. If we're still hearing issues in late August about, a particular player, that's an issue. If we're hearing a constant drumbeat positively for a player, like obviously the Puka last year and Kyron, I need to be better about that. It's, the social media teams are going to put out their flashy videos. I've learned to ignore that. But I love the Coach Speak Index, and I think we're looking for that constant drumbeat. So I think to your point, don't overreact now. But if you're hearing the same thing throughout the summer, good or bad, that's when you start maybe reacting.
And it's also a reflection. I mean, Keon Coleman is going in the 70s. It's not like he's going. It's not like he's going where Malik Neighbors is going.
Right.
And yet he's the one with the elite quarterback. So
yeah, Malik Neighbors does not have an elite quarterback. I want to say hi in the chat. Got Tyler in the chat. Always love. He was on Friends of Best Ball a few weeks back. Always love seeing him in the chat. So we will be drafting a BBM here shortly. Quick note on Friends of Best Ball. There are just 2 Fridays I'm traveling this summer, and one of them is this Friday. So no Friends of Best Ball this week, but Spread is stepping up. This Friday, Spread will be drafting a weekly winners to replace my Friends of Best Ball. So we will not slack on the at least 4 to 5 live drafts. Spread is going to be drafting weekly winners 3 p.m. this Friday, and I'll be back with Friends of Best Ball next Friday. I'm actually working on a little special longer happy hour plan. So stay tuned for news on that. It's in the works right now, and then Andrew and I are working on working that into some longer live streams in July and August as well. That will tie into the whole Friends of Best Ball thing. So while there won't be Friends of Best Ball next Friday, there will be hopefully a longer one the following Friday, I believe the 29th. And there's going to be a lot longer Friends of Best Ball live streams later in the summer as well. So stay tuned for that. Steve, I'm going to bring over BBM, and we can jump in here, because no time like the present to get another BBM in. So if you want to jump in with us, I am jumping in now. And of course, it's the location thing. I mean, here, why don't you continue to talk about any other ADP movement you're seeing?
Yeah.
Or any rankings thing while I try to.
Well, the other interesting one I brought up was the Vidal, the rookie running back from the Chargers, small rookie from Troy. And people get excited about him, and I get it. Gus Edwards is.
I do like the Vidal thing, so I mean.
Well, but the other interesting news that came out is Austin Eckler's comments that he and the Chargers were just on a different page. He said the Chargers want somebody who's going to touch the ball 300 times, carry the ball, and if you think that's Kamani Vidal, I don't know if that fits the bill there. If it's going to be anything.
But that was also a different coaching scheme, though, or coaches though too, with the Austin Eckler. I did get in. I want to let you guys know. Just let me interrupt. Waiting for 3. So if you want to jump in with us, you can jump in with us. We are waiting for 3 more. But the thing is with the Eckler thing, was different coaching staff.
I thought it was about this. That's why he didn't stay with the team with Harbaugh.
Oh, that we didn't want to stay. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, everything is like interpretation. I read that quickly. So
gotcha. I'm pretty sure that's what it was in reference to.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
And I mean, that makes sense. I mean, the Harbaugh offense has typically relied heavily, and Greg Roman has typically relied heavily on a featured back. With the Ravens, due to injuries with Edwards and Dobbins, they haven't always been able to have a featured back. But you look at Greg Roman with the Bills, LaShawn McCoy, you look at Greg Roman with the 49ers and under Jim Harbaugh there, of course, Frank Gore. So, yeah, I mean, we're talking about a back who just dominates touches and dominates carries. So, I think that's maybe how they approached, Austin Eckler. Like, they wanted a feature back.
Murray Lime agrees with you. Thank you for joining us in chat. So yeah, I mean, these are the things we're trying to be careful with right now about these running back things. It's hard with these RB2 and 3s. And that's why keeping an eye on all this stuff, and especially as camp starts in July and August, is going to be key. Go ahead.
And this is not to say, especially if you're drafting a lot, to take 0 Vidal, because of course Dobbins has had major injury issues.
Right.
Gus Edwards is returning from an injury and has had some injuries in the past, so this could quickly open the door for him. But right now, it is not clear. It's only in fantasy drafters' minds that Vidal is ahead of Isaiah Spiller and whatever. Like, I think they have Jared Patterson there. I can't remember what other, kind of like just random guys they have off the street right now in Chargers camp. So it's not clear that Vidal is clearly ahead of anyone else right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope so because I'm drafting him a little, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to go heavier on a lot of the running back 2 situations in July and August when we get more news, obviously. That's why, honestly, I'm drafting personally a lot more hero. I'm even getting some double hero, running back situations now, and then I'm going to go lean into the 0 RB way heavier in August. I've mentioned it multiple times. I know Peter Rosette's mentioned that on different kind of draft styles in different months. That's what I'm doing. Are you doing that more too, Steve? And then quick answer, because I want to get back to the draft.
Yeah, no, I think it's smarter to take the certainty that we have right now and run with it.
Okay, so I brought over the board and we are in the 12th spot, which is kind of fun, Steve, because I don't think you and I have had on the Sibling Showdown, to my recollection, have had the 12th spot yet. Do you remember that?
So.
Okay. And then I want to say hi to people in chat or in the draft with us. And if you're in chat, good to see you. King of Kings, of course. And then Noel Fan, who's been jumping in. Both of you guys have been jumping in a lot of our FanSpeak live drafts, and we appreciate it. We love to see that. And I don't think I recognize any.
Tyler, the number.
I don't think that's him at the 2 spot, but Tyler, if that is you, let us know. King of Kings went Tyreek Hill. Noel Fan went Bijan. So my dream scenario at 11, 12, or 12, 13 turn is they're both week 12 buys is Garrett Wilson and Drake London. So far it's still there. If that doesn't happen, I'll cue okay. So Wilson went, we're on the clock. We've got Drake London there. Would you go? We just talked about hero running back. I don't typically do that. I just feel like that's way too high. And the problem for me is I'll just let it time out with London, and then we can talk about this for the second pick because I really don't care what order it is. The problem for me is these guys, Harrison, Taylor, Olave, it's just really high for me, for them. That's a me situation. So I like to get unique and usually get somebody like, and I think someone just tweeted about this today, about what you like to do at the turn. Again, I like to do Garrett Wilson, London. If that doesn't happen, I don't mind Gibbs. I don't mind reaching for a 49er. I don't mind if you want to do Barkley. 10 seconds. What do you want to do?
I like Barkley.
You like mixing it up with Barkley here? Why do you like Barkley here? Because obviously Barkley falls, but like, why do you like the combo here? Just
the combo. One, sometimes Hurts comes back, so you could just have all the Eagles offense, which is a very good offense. But Barkley has, it's hard to unseat Christian McCaffrey as RB1, but Barkley has the upside to do that. I mean, you look at his points per game potential with the Giants the last couple of years when healthy, it's incredible. And now you're putting him on this offense, and yes, people will worry about the tush push and all that, though that might not be the same, especially since they now have a back like Barkley who can physically get those kind of yards, unlike what they've had of late when they've used committees or a smaller back like Swift last year. So Barkley can get those tough yards, and they might say, yeah, we don't want to risk any more guys falling on Hurts, especially when he doesn't have Jason Kelce leading the way.
Yeah, everybody was falling on Jason Kelce. Yeah.
So I just think Barkley. I mean, he was good last year, and that was with just some of the worst quarterback play.
I mean, this is the best offense,
worst O-line play.
Yeah, this is best offense, best offensive line he's played with. I think if you you and I both have Barkley ranked higher than consensus. I think you probably have him somewhere in this early second round, correct? Yeah, I do too. And so, I mean, I've been letting him fall to get him later because, that's kind of obviously strategy. You let him fall. But in this case, I think it's unique to grab him at the turn because most of your combos are going to be with him in this middle second round now that he has fallen. So I don't mind that at all because I have him ranked there. And I'm just kind of just queasy on some of these other ones. I've been the other thing I've been doing, because someone tweeted, I wish I remembered the tweet about what you do at this turn. Again, my favorite combo is Wilson London. But I know some people mentioned the 49ers. I agree with that. Like, I love getting one of these top receivers that I love, like Wilson or London, that are in the exact same situation, by the way, just massive upgrades at quarterback. So, like, we know how talented they are. Same draft class or different draft class?
Same draft class.
Same draft class. We know the talent. Now we get to see them with real quarterbacks. So exciting. And I want to be early to that because these could both be like early first round picks next year. If we think they do what they can, if they do what we think they can do. So I like mixing them up with some 49ers. So I've done that before, either Ayuk or Debo. So yeah, that's been another, but I like this. I like that call because like you said, if Hurts comes back to us, I've done that before, but I don't know that I've done that here in this range. So I certainly probably don't have that like Hurts, Barkley, London combination. So I think that would be pretty fun if he came back. And like you said, you're just getting all the touchdown equity on the Eagles. Not a bad thing. You could get Goddard later. Don't hate that at all. Just checking in on the chat. I mean, the first round went, just checking in on the draft. The first round, before we queue up stuff, the first round went about what we thought: McCaffrey, Lamb, Chase, Hill to King of Kings, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and then Bijan, Bryce back to back. I mean, I love all three running backs in the first round. AJ Brown, Puka, Garrett Wilson. We took Drake London, Barkley, and then pretty much what you expect. The other running backs, three running backs went off the board, and like then the massive receiver run. So kind of what you expect so far. So any other things that are standing out to you at this point yet?
So what I'd say is also, like you'd mentioned, a lot of times you're letting Barkley slide into the middle second round, which he typically does. But in a BBM contest like this, especially that's going to go on all summer, and his ADP could absolutely fluctuate. This is where you can get more risky. Like if you're in a poodle and everyone's drafting the same, 2-week window, even through the slows, it's like you want to stick more closely to ADP and not get too crazy off the mark. Where something like this, where it and the finals are going to be so different. The quarterfinals and semifinals have bigger. If you're advancing, you're going to have to compete for more people instead of these like 1-5, 1-6 type tournaments. You want a little bit of a unique combo. Because
I love mixing up my early combos for sure.
Because there could be plenty of Wilson London type builds or
we're on the clock. So let's go Jalen Hurts here, but then we need to talk through. Henry just went. I was going to be open to a double hero, even double hero and elite quarterback and double hero, and then we just get unique and then just hammer receivers. But I say we take Hurts here, and then I queued up Pittman and Higgins because I know we're both high on them. So we've got the Philly connection there of just soaking up all the Phillies touchdowns. We have London. Higgins, does Higgins have the same bye week? Yeah. Okay, so do you want to go Pittman here?
Let's go Pittman.
Are you fine with that, or is there anybody else? I know you're a little less. I know we both like Flowers less. 10 seconds. What do you?
Go Pittman.
I like Pittman here. Yeah.
I
mean, we're obviously by taking Hurts not going to be queuing up AR, but that's fine. I'm fine just grabbing Pittman share there because we're getting him in the fourth round there. I'm fine.
And that offense again, it's a great offensive mind, as we know. And if AR does AR things like that Pittman could have a much bigger year. Like he really lacked the touchdowns. I don't think his targets are going to be on par with some of these other guys out there because I don't think Richardson's going to throw a ton. I think he's going to be very similar to like Lamar in that with the lower target volume, but his touchdowns could absolutely go up, and I don't think they're going to go up to like 10, but I think he had 4 last year, maybe 5. If he gets 7 or 8, like we're talking, a nice big jump, a couple more big spike weeks out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just want to mention now, if you are new to Underdog, probably most people watching this are not, but if you are new or know somebody that's new and needs a code, use code FANSPEAK. You get a deposit bonus, special pick, and first-time deposit bonus up to $250, even better than it used to be. That's a lot of BBMs or whatever type of draft you are drafting. Let's talk about this quickly so then we can go back to talking about what the board's doing, what we want to do. But you and I have talked about, Steve, about how this year we want to take advantage of so many of the other great advanced rate tournaments. I know that I've talked about that on here before, but I know you and I both maxed the 20 max Poodle, the 5 max Hound Dog. They had 2 good super flexes that we both got action down on that had good advance rates. Didn't do much of the puppy, but that's 1 of 10, 1 of 10. I'm kind of going to be like outside of BBM, which most of my BBMs are going to be streamed. I'm actually going to be an advanced rate snob this year because again, last year, my mistake was I did the BBM and then I did the puppies that, weren't as a good advance rate. And again, I know they're making everything flatter, much better advance rates, like site wide on Underdog. That's why just Underdog is just the best. But there are some better than others. And I know there's somebody on Twitter that actually grades out the what are the EV and everything of these tournaments. I wish I remembered. Do you know his handle, Steve?
Not off the top of my head.
I don't. Yeah, I'll have to put that in the comments of the show later or something. Because I love that, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to be doing a ton of those. We both are in the Dalmatian. So anything basically $100 and below, I'm looking for. I'm just going to be an advanced rate snob. Those like 1 to 6 is like just music to my ears. So I'm going to be doing a ton of that. Wouldn't be surprised if after this puppy we get something else. But this puppy is a big one. How long do you think the puppy is? Are you doing much of the puppy? What do you think of these tournaments? And how long till you think the puppy feels? Because then I think we're going to get another good one after the puppy and Dalmatian film.
Yeah. So.
And then just once we come up at a pick, I'm just going to tell you, just so I don't interrupt you. When you see pick 58, 59, just take a quick pause.
So I'm going to do some of the puppy. I'm not going to go overboard just because I do want to do more of those ones that we've been doing, the poodle and et cetera. Because I do think the better advance rates are nice. And yes, the puppy is 100K up top, but I'll take the 30K or 20K of some of these other tournaments just as easy. And it's just better advance rates are going to increase your odds. And that's something I'm very, very thrilled with.
Okay, let's look at the chat really quick. And then No Fan says King of Kings with a stacked wide receiver room. So that's Frank in chat. I know he's he's been joining a lot of our live drafts and I love it. He started with Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, got a lot of stack options. We were on the clock at 60 and 61, Steve. ARs aren't there, but I don't think we demand. It's tough with that falling value. I'm going to queue up Worthy. If we wanted to go kind of like a modified double hero, Mixon, Godwin, Ladd gives us another stacking partner. 6 seconds. Are you fine with Worthy here?
Yeah, do Worthy.
Okay, so we'll let that go and take Worthy. There has been kind of a run on receivers. So we are at 113. So we're still pacing nicely. 1130. I know you love Mixon. I'm fine with that if you want to do it, or do you want like a Godwin McConkey, like setting up like a different type of? That's kind of regional.
I would do Mixon. Okay. I really think Mixon is.
I think we can find other stacks, and you're fine passing Anthony Richardson, even though
we don't need to do double. It's so. I think
you go first on your thoughts on the double hero elite QB, and then I'll go.
Yeah, I think it's very hard for a double hero elite QB to work out. I just think you're passing on such a quality running back, receiver, maybe an elite tight end in this range, and it's the times that he might outscore Hurts and fill in. You could probably get that with the Trevor Lawrence later. You could probably get that with the Justin Herbert later. Roughly the same type of thing. Probably not Herbert specifically, just because same bye week, and even lesser quarterbacks. I mean, guys like last year, Desmond Ridder had multiple 25 plus point games. Baker Mayfield had a big game in the playoffs, and then actually in the NFL playoffs had multiple big 30-point type games. So, you can find those types of games later, not as consistently, not as high, but it's just not going to affect us as much. And
you're just passing up on other elite.
Yeah.
We were able to get Xavier Worthy and Mixon. I just think it's tough to pass that up, even though he fell, because there's been so many times in poodle drafts, I believe, where I took Pittman, I was setting up an AR stack and AR would go 1 or 2 ahead of me, and it was frustrating. So to see him like fall to you at Pittman was tough to pass, but I so rarely do that. Or very rarely do that elite double elite quarterback, just because it feels like a thin needle to thread. Let's check and see what, again, I was rushed saying it, but this is Frank again, who he's in a lot of the Fantasy Dog Pound on Pat's channel. He's in a lot of our drafts and love to see it. Hill, Deebo, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Deontay Johnson. I mean, he has so many stack options. I assume he's going to hit the running backs hard in this area that is popular with running backs. And he has so many stack options that are still available to him, because even with his first 2 picks, Purdy and Purdy and Tua, and then if he wants to go down later, he's got Gino, he's got Lawrence, he's got if even way later, Bryce Young. So he could do 3 quarterbacks and spread it out more. He's got a lot of options. So I like that. And let's check in. Noel fan went Bijan. I mean, Bijan's becoming one of my favorite picks. And talk about coach speak index. Everything you're hearing from that is just a way that he's going to be used, and knowing in that system with Zach Robinson that they're just going to use him the right way. And potentially like Christian McCaffrey I don't know. I just love the Bijan pick. So Bijan, Chris Olave, Kyron Williams. So he did the double hero running back 2, Tank Dell, Dalton Kincaid, DeAndre Hopkins. Love the DeAndre Hopkins pick. I have him ranked much higher than ADP too. So I like that a lot. So then, it's coming around. Anthony Richardson went all the way to 70s, Steve. I'm surprised about that. He rarely does that. I mean, he usually makes it back to his ADP, quite honestly. I was going to say, the person who took him obviously didn't have a stack because we have Pittman, but didn't have another quarterback either yet. So I get to just taking that falling value. So they came around the corner with David Montgomery, Joe Burrow, Rashee Rice, Aaron Jones, and then Frank goes George Kittle, hits the elite tight end. And I like it. I like doing these fun builds, especially this time of year. Noel fans on the clock, and then we can take a look at what we'll be at 84 and 85. So Noel fan goes Christian Watson. Maybe he wants to set up. He has definitely a lot of stack options too at his disposal with, Love. Levis, one of our favorite guys, Carr. So he's definitely got a lot of options. Cousins, if he wants to, with Bijan. So like that. So 84, 85, we're working with a 1, 2, 3. So I think can kind of tap the brakes on running back, since we kind of like did a modified double hero, keep hitting running back hard here. We are 3 through 6 rounds, but I wouldn't mind double tapping this, or if you see an elite tight end that you like. So on the receiver board, we are up Jamison Williams, Cortland Sutton, Brian Thomas just went. I was interested in that. Not as interested in Kurt Samuel, Tyler Lockett. I mean, running receiver is getting thin fast. As you can see, it's way ahead of the ADP. So I would say JMO and one of these other ones. What are your thoughts?
I'd take Jamison Williams for sure.
And then let's take a quick look. You do have Jake Ferguson, who obviously is a run back to the Eagles week 17. That is interesting. I wouldn't
mind doing that.
In BABM. Then we would definitely have to probably hit running receiver hard the next 2 rounds. Are you fine with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I do think the next 2 rounds will be in that early 100s, where we like a lot of those guys too, still, even though it's a little later, right?
Yeah. And it's not like our receiver room is weak. So we're through 6, 7. We have 4 through 8. I usually like to have, So we had, we got 4 through 7, and we got 3 through 6 and 4 through 7, and that's usually what I like to do, and we did. And we'll definitely have 5 through 10 still, even though we did elite QB, a tight end and 2 running backs. So I think if in this case, since we did the 2 elite running backs, if we do like a 1, 2, 5, maybe even 6-1 or something like that, we'll figure it out as it's coming back around. But my point is, we'll be back up at 108 and 109, and we in that 108, 109 area. While I do like Cortland Sutton, Tyler Lockett, I have a lot of them. I love Shaheed. I know we both like Shakir, Josh Palmer. Again, another one to set up a potential back stack or second stack. Mike Williams to set up potential second or third stack. There's a lot of options there. So I just queued a bunch of them up. So obviously, don't think we'll be looking at quarterback or tight end there. I think we would look at maybe tapping 2 receivers, or if there's any falling running back value in that area. So, okay, let's bring the board back over and see what everybody's doing here. So again, we went Jameson Williams, Jake Ferguson to correlate with our Eagles stack. Oh, we should queue up Goddard. Should we have not? I just realized, to get like a pass catching option. That would be very unique for me to take like a Ferguson Goddard, but maybe we should have just, or are you fine with a just
like Barkley stack if Goddard doesn't. Because I
I
mean,
mean, I'm
honestly,
honestly fine with just a Barkley stack. Anytime you have a running quarterback and he's getting, I can't remember the exact points that Hurts got from the ground, but when a large percentage of his points are coming from the ground, the stacking value is lessened. When it's Tua, you need a stack. You absolutely need a stack, and you need a
actually, the guy that
primary
won it all last year
which
had
is
two almost
ironic,
there. Yeah.
absolutely ironic. But you need that stack much more when it's Allen or Hurts or Lamar. You need that stack a lot less because they can have 30-point games and it's either totally spread around or maybe none of their weapons get there.
Yeah, I mean,
They ran for
I
two
like just the
touchdowns.
team correlation
Yeah.
too. And if you're able to get a receiving option, one
Yeah.
of his receiving options, of course, I still try to. But if it doesn't fall naturally, you don't force it. Basically, with that, I think that's your point to that.
Yeah. And also Barkley could have 70
Receiving
catches
touch.
this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been
Wait, what
highly
did you
involved in
project? What
return.
did you project as his potential catch at reception?
So, I mean, if he's healthy, 70 catches.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, then there you go. You could get some receiving touchdowns from him.
Yeah.
Frank in chat said got in just in time. Good luck to everybody. Yeah, good luck to you. Like Frank, I like the start, and he did completed the Purdy stack with Debo, so I like that a lot. So, and he got James Conner as his first running back. That's a good anchor when you're doing the zero RB. James Conner is certainly one that we still like a lot. I know
I think
some
he's criminally underrated.
Yeah. And then Noel Fan, last two picks. If Felix is in chat, he'll love you, Noel Fan. You got Najee at 90, which is great value because he's been going a lot earlier. We were on the clock. I'll move to that in a minute. And he got Brandon Cooks, which I like. So, the top of the receivers that we had queued up is Shakir, Palmer, Williams. Do you want to hit two of these? Goddard is there. I will say that if you wanted to do that double run tight end situation.
Yeah, I actually like the idea of Shakir Goddard.
You do?
Yeah.
What about Palmer Goddard? Because
we're not going to take Herbert because it's the same buy as Hurts.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Then I have Shakir ranked higher too. So, okay, so we go Shakir for our fifth receiver, and you do want to do Goddard since he fell to us?
Yeah, I like the idea of just a 2 tight end build. He fell to us, or he's still there. I mean, it's a little ahead of his ADP, but he's still there.
It's basically giving us like one of the two options, and maybe one fills in the flex of week 17. If that game goes off, you have the run back in Ferguson. If Ferguson doesn't get there, hopefully one of the tight ends smashes in that game. If both smash, that could be super unique, right? Yeah. I mean, you and I don't oversweat the unique stuff. We're more trying to mix up our combinations. But I think when you see unique opportunities to get unique like this, I'm totally fine with it. So we started our first 10 rounds, and this is unique for, honestly, your and I style build is, excuse me, with a 1-2-5-2, but we still kept the receiver pace and even doing elite quarterback, 2 tight ends, 2 elite running backs, or a modified double hero running back build. We still got the 3x6, 4x7, 5x9 receivers. So as we kind of hit that, over midway point with the 1-2-5-2, we have Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Drake London, Michael Pittman, Xavier Worthy, Jamison Williams, Khalil Shakir. That's the only double bye week, even with the week 12 situation. That's pretty good. And then Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert. So we are done at tight end. Let's be thinking about, Steve, the situation of who we can stack outside of, obviously Kirk is the most attractive situation with Drake London as our first pick. Pittman and Worthy options are gone. You can't stack JMO because week 5 with Hurts, and obviously Josh Allen's gone. So right now we only kind of have the one Kirk stack. I know we look at running backs too, but I do want to keep an eye on potential other receivers since we're not going to grab any more tight ends that we could potentially stack. So we will be up at 132 and 133. Let's queue up a couple and then we'll take a look at the board before we come up. So these guys at the top of the board likely will be gone. You have Jacoby Myers, Tavion Wicks, Josh Downs, Gabe Davis, Jahan Dotson, Leggett, and then you kind of get into this range of the rookies. So I don't know what you think about that, or if you're fine, like kind of waiting a little.
Oh, I think we need to wait on receiver and focus on running back and maybe Cousins here.
I'd say, if we really want Cousins, I don't think he's coming back to us. I know a lot of people would say, will push it, but I don't think he's coming back at 56 because the Pitts person I know was somewhere in the middle here. Yeah, Kyle Pitts was taken at the 8th spot, and though they did take 2 quarterbacks, but and then No Fan has Bijan. I mean, you could certainly stack with it just like we did. And he took no Fan got us. I was just saying the other person to consider would be No Fan. Okay, so let's.
Well, I think we should double tap running back here. There's no quarterback we're going to take.
Yeah, there's no quarter. Okay, so Elliott just went. We're up at 132, 133. I usually like to let Chubb fall farther, but there's Charbonnet, Chubb, Kendre, Rico, Dow, which correlates Marshawn Lloyd.
Dow for sure.
Okay, so you like that for sure. Charbonnet, Chubb, Kendre Miller. I mean, I like Ty Chandler a lot too. Marshawn
I don't mind Chandler. I don't mind Chubb, but I'd probably take.
Would you be fine? I mean, I guess if he's your 4th running back, it's not.
Just look at receiver real quick. I'm curious on something. Yeah.
So it's Wicks, Davis, Leggett, Pearsall. I mean, I've personally been grabbing more Pearsall, but it's before especially when it's after his ADP, if something does happen with Ayuk. So what do you want to do here?
I think just take another running back.
Okay, so Lloyd, Chandler, or Chubb. So bye weeks, we have 5, 14, 7.
Yeah, I think I'd go Chandler.
You'd go Chandler over Chubb at this one situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have been
taking more Nick Chubb, but I've been taking more as like the 4th running back, but I also been taking more when he falls past his ADP.
Yeah.
Basically. I do think we need to figure out, you and I like to stack 3 quarterbacks. So I do think we need to think through some other receivers that we can stack, because it's not going to be with our tight ends. And we really don't have any receivers that are available to stack. So, so we will be back up at, let me see here. No Fan, well played with the Cousins. Hold on, let me see. Let's check the chat first really quick. So Andrew's in chat. Hey, boss is checking in from the pool. Very nice. Swimming with the fam. How's the team looking? Well, enjoy swimming with the fam. Very nice, Andrew. We are at your spot. Andrew always gets the 12th spot. So he says, you should know, Andrew, because I've never seen a guy get a 12th spot on stream more than Andrew. so he the 12th spot king says that it's a nice squat. So I like to hear that. But no, well played for No Fan, knowing that if he didn't take Kirk Cousins, we were, because we were talking about it and you kind of knew that's where we were headed, because we knew he wasn't coming back to 155. So we were going to take him, No Fan. So well played. I also like what Frank did we talked about it earlier. His top 2 guys let him stack up beautifully with Tyreek Hill, Debo. He got Tua and Purdy. So love that. And he got Tajay Spears in between. Again, if you're doing 0 running back, he's hitting some of the ones you really want to get. And so No Fan got Kirk Cousins and he got Nick Chubb, a little farther, a little closer to his ADP. Again, I have been taking more Nick Chubb, like I said, like when he kind of is at or has fallen past his ADP. I would have been fine with him as a 4th. I'm never fine with him as like a 3rd or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's basically how I've been handling it. And certainly if I see falling value on them, I know you wrote about that. And again, check out all our articles on fanspeak.com, all free. If you don't like ads, subscribe for just $19.99 for an entire year. Ultimate GM. You have 0 ads. You have all the benefits of our draft simulator, off-season simulator, but then we are going to be putting more best ball features behind that paywall July and August as well. So, I haven't even talked about it. I just wrote an article, or last week I wrote about top 10 teams I'm stacking up. This week I wrote about teams that pair well together. Like, I don't love Detroit's week 16. So who has like a great week 16 that you compare with Detroit, stuff like that, kind of fun galaxy brain stuff. So, okay. On the way back, King of Kings took, let's see. So after Tua, he's having to hit the running backs, obviously doing the 0 RB. So he took Kendrick Miller, Ray Davis. And like I said, No Fan took, should I mix No Fan with Nick Chubb? No Fan took Kirk Cousins and Nick Chubb. So I do want to figure out what we'd like to do. And I think we need to keep in mind who we could potentially stack. I know Russell Wilson isn't super intriguing, but I know you and I both love Roman Wilson. So I'm going to cue him up. Is A-Rod still on the board?
Yeah.
We can always and then we can also cue guys that we can backstack. I mean, we talked about the Buccaneers from the jump with my missing earring. So I queued up Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield. You could backstack Will Levis. You could backstack Bryce Young. You could certainly backstack Drake May. So any other ones you want me to throw in there to potentially backstack?
Right now, I'd say no. I think
that's I think
if it shows.
Well, wait,
if it shows up,
because none of. So go. What were you gonna say?
Right now, I'd take Aaron Rodgers and Malik Corley.
Okay, so you would take Corley over Roman Wilson just to go ahead and get that stack.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I like that. I'm fine with that. I like Roman Wilson 1-for-1 over Corley, but I like getting that stack. So, okay, so here we are taking Aaron Rodgers. No. Almost took the wait. Corley go? Or did I miss?
You need to scroll up. Scroll up.
Here,
scroll up on your queue.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Whew. Sorry about that. I thought it was down. It was up. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sometimes my queuing goes so smoothly and sometimes not so much. Okay, so we got our second stack. So we got the Eagles stack. We got the Giants, which we were both so high on the Jets offense this year. So we got the Jets stack. So because we were looking for a potential Kirk Cousins week 12, since we're not getting that, we pivot to the week 12 Jet stack. We love the Cousins Atlanta stacks. Week 12, we love the Rodgers Jets week 12 stack. So I love that we got Hurts, Rodgers, and we have literally 4 different options that are totally fine to backstack. So I'm going to leave those queued up.
Well, I mean, Levis and Carr aren't real appealing now.
Well, you'd have to backstack them with Chig or.
Well, we wouldn't take a third tight end.
Oh, well, okay. I get what you're saying.
And not only that, they also have the same buy as the 2 quarterbacks we have.
Oh, that's right. Levis has, yep, you are absolutely right. Levis is week 5 and Carr is week 12. Good call, Steve. This is why teamwork makes the dream work. Good call. So we could backstack Bryce Young with Jatavion Sanders, who's one of our favorite late round tight ends. And of course, that would be a third tight end, or excuse me. But I mean, honestly, you could do that. I wouldn't hate it necessarily. I mean, I think this is going to be more like a 3-5, more 8-2. That would probably be better. But if you had to do that, if you took Drake May, who would you be looking for the 7th receiver? Who's your favorite Patriots receiver? Because obviously Polk is already gone, I assume. So
yeah,
let's just queue up Patriots here and just take a look that way. That's how I do when I'm on my phone. Okay, so Polk went. Obviously, Henry went. Henry's my favorite, but again, we were looking for receiver. So you got Demario Douglas. I'm just queuing him. Javon Baker, or I'm not looking at Bourne or anything. So I will say if Roman Wilson fell, it's still 10 picks to go. That would be hard to pass up. But okay, he just went to Tyler. I don't think that's the Tyler in chat, but Tyler got him at 170. That's like a 15 spot drop. So I like that a lot. So who is your favorite? If you're stacking with May and you don't get Hunter Henry,
the quarterbacks right now?
Sure.
All right. I was just making sure Stafford wasn't still there because Demarcus Robinson's still on the board.
Right. So if you're stacking with May, who is your favorite stack if you can't get Polk or Henry? Baker, the other rookie? Or do you like
Baker?
You like Baker?
Douglas is anything. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Bourne or KJ Osborne or even Juju outplay Douglas. I mean, Douglas is, 5'7" and not dynamic.
What's Baker's measurements?
6'1", 2.
Okay, where was he out at? What school was he? I get the rookie receiver sometimes the later ones mixed up.
He was last at UCF, Central Florida. Where did he start? Alabama, right? Yeah. So, but no, last 2 years at Central Florida, he had good numbers, even though they had more of a rushing type quarterback.
Well, so we're in kind of groups here. Like, we've got 180, 80, 181, and then 204, 205. I doubt I doubt Drake May comes back to us. We're on the clock. I would go ahead and take May Baker here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, perfect. And then we have our 3 stacks and get rid of Bryce Young. And then our last, so we have 3, 4, 7, 2 with 2 picks left. Likely it'll be a 3, 5, 8, 2, unless you do see some other value that sticks out to you, I would assume. So just to read our team one more time, where we're at with just 2 picks to go with the 3, 4, 7, 2 with 2 picks left. We did get 3 stacks. Hurts with Barkley, Rodgers with Corley, Drake May with Javon Baker. And then so then Baker, within our running backs, we did like a modified double hero. Barkley, Mixon, Rico Dow, week 17 correlation, obviously, Ty Chandler, and then Drake London, Michael Pittman, Xavier Worthy, Jamison Williams, Khalil Shakir, Malachi Corley, Javon Baker, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, really leaning into that Philly, Dallas, week 17 correlation there. Let's check out the board. So because we were definitely stressing to see our kind of quarterback stacks and how they'd play out. And so our last 2 rounds, we got 2 quarterback stacks, Rodgers, Corley, May, Baker. Frank, like I said, was hitting the running backs hard because he did a 0 RB. So he was able to get Kendra Miller, Ray Davis, Antonio Gibson. His last few rounds, he got Troy Franklin, and then went back and got Jonnu Smith, Miami, because he's got a Dolphin stack. So I like that. And then Noel Fan, let's see, he hadn't hit a receive. He got Kirk was his first quarterback. So he hit then Cousins, Chubb, Ricky Parasol, Hunter Henry, and then he got Will Levis, Derek Carr, to have 3 different options. So I like that. So, okay, so it's coming around the 16, 17 turn. And so who are your favorite? So we'll queue up 1 running back and 1 receiver. Who are some of your favorite targets in this option? I'll pull over the board in a minute and we'll see if they're actually available.
I mean, I don't know if he'll still be there, but Braylon Allen would be the top running back.
Okay. Yeah, agreed. Receivers that you like? Yeah, I'll put up. I just want to see what the guys are doing. So what's shaking out here? What's your take really quick on the Chicago Bears situation? Do you think there's a chance Khalil Herbert gets moved, which would make me like both him and Rashawn Johnson potentially a little bit more?
I mean, potentially.
Let me rephrase it. If Khalil Herbert gets moved, that makes me like Rashawn Johnson a lot more. I think I need to start taking him. I know Andrew in chat's a big Rashawn Johnson fan. Braylon Allen just went. What's your take on Herbert? There were some weird quotes about, didn't sound like he was even a lock to make the team. Maybe they are trying to move him. I guess it depends obviously where he goes as to how much you'd really like him. So have you taken much of either? Because I'm considering taking.
I've sprinkled a little bit in these late rounds. But I don't think they are also just stone cold blocks. I mean, Roshan, as much as Herbert showed explosiveness as a secondary role, some with Dave Montgomery a few years back, last year he just didn't look good. It just was not pretty. And as for Roshan Johnson, he had like 1 game where he caught a lot of passes and was kind of fantasy relevant.
We'll get back to him in a second. So we're on the clock. Last 2 picks of the draft. I know we both like Dameon Pierce. You do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Keaton Mitchell. I'd
take Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Why? I like Pierce better.
Well, we already have Joe Mixon.
Oh, you don't mind? Do you hate that to have like the actual handcuff?
When we have running backs this week, yeah.
I don't think our running backs are weak.
I mean, we only had 2 clear starters.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So we only have clear. Well, actually, I kind of like our receivers, but I do love Tolbert and Slayton. So would you go 6 running backs since we only got 2 really solid ones, or would you go an 8th receiver?
I would still go an 8th receiver just because.
Okay, so
Corley and Baker, I think we took.
We took 3 week 12s, 2 week 14s. I put Tolbert up at the top.
I'm fine doing Tolbert. Just more correlation for that game.
More correlation for that game. And
I just a better offense. As much as I like Slayton, I think Slayton's going to be a clear number 2 for New York. I think Tolbert is going to be the clear number 3 for the Cowboys, and
which is going to be a pass heavy offense. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean,
Last year,
Right.
Dak threw about 3 times the number of touchdowns that the Giants threw. I'm sure that will improve this year for the Giants, but that's a reality that
Yeah.
the Cowboys threw about 3 times as many touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with you. That makes sense because we only had like the two clear like volume starters, and our other running backs are, Dow, Chandler, and Edwards, to not like handcuff the one. It would be different if you had a kind of like a different situation. Probably like if you were doing 6 running backs, I'd be more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To finalize let's just wrap up the Chicago Bears. I'm taking a little more of each. I mean, they're both going so late, right? I mean, they're your probably a lot. I like them more in like 0 RB builds with 6 running backs. But I'm fine with both because especially if one's moved, Roshan Johnson, then, his value is much, much better. And then, then you're just taking a risk on where Herbert lands, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, that's obviously a risk, but he probably would at least be a number 2 back wherever he lands. I don't really buy that, if he goes to Dallas, he's automatically going to be the number 1, or if he goes to the Chargers, he automatically, pushes Edwards out. Like, I don't buy that at all. I mean, Edwards has vastly outperformed him in his entire career. You look at
Herbert, yeah.
Edwards has like a 5.0 yards per carry for his career, like,
right,
in that offense. So I don't
right.
think Khalil Herbert's going to be knocking him off the pedestal.
Okay, as soon as this is over, we'll look at our 3 teams. But this was fun. We really appreciate Frank and Noel Fan for joining us. Anytime you can draft with us, but we appreciate you joining us in this week's Sibling Showdown. We will go over all 3 teams once this last pick is made. Go from there. So this is my, BBM 23. So actually, no, I want to look at them this way. So we'll go through our team first while I have it pulled up. So from the 12th position, 3-5-8-2, did an elite quarterback, kind of modified double elite running back, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Drake May, Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Rigo Dow, Ty Chandler, CEH, Drake London, Michael Pittman, Xavier Worthy, Jameson Williams, Khalil Shakir, Malachi Corley, Javon Baker, Jalen Tolbert, and then Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert. We obviously have a ton of correlation to the Philly-Dallas Week 17 game, but obviously also 2 offenses we really like too. So the back half of our receiver room is pretty young. I like that, and obviously correlated. It's funny, Steve, for starting so strong at running back, I don't know how we could have like made the middle better, but I love Ty Chandler, but Rico Downs, like, it was kind of like a correlation pick, but I don't love our, I think I would have felt stronger with and sometimes that happens. And I think it's because we took, Goddard, the second tight end before we took maybe in hindsight, I would have just passed on Goddard, been fine with the Hurts Saquon combo and gotten a solid 3rd running back. Cause I know you and I, like, one of the things we love to do is if we do get a tight end in the first 10 rounds, we like to build like a 1-3-5-1, where even if you took 2 earlier running backs, you still have like that 3rd that you really feel really strong about. And to me, Dow still has question marks and some warts to him.
Sure.
So in hindsight, that's what I would have done. I don't know if you feel the same way, and then give your thoughts on the team, and then we'll check out the other guys.
So what I'll say is I typically love Dowd or Elliott, for that matter, to be my 4th running back. I think the Cowboys running back, and they both could hit value just because that offense is so good. But I don't feel confident enough in either one to be my 3rd running back that often. And so I agree, especially with us taking kind of the lesser of the 2.
Yeah.
In Rico Dowd. So and we followed up with Ty Chandler. It's not like we there's some other clear starter or something like that. So, and I like Ty Chandler, but he could be easily the.
Well, 30. We were in that range. There wasn't any other clear starters. It was
absolutely. But my point being is there wasn't any. It's not. There wasn't another clear falling value or anything like that. Like
the only other one we could have taken there is Nick Chubb, and you could have painted a picture that okay, if he comes back by like week 6 and is still Nick Chubb-esque, probably amazing. Not Nick Chubb.
If he's
Yeah.
hurt all year, then you're
With a build
really
with
thin at
only
running back.
5. Yeah, that's why I like him more in 6 running back builds. Or at least like if he's like, yeah, like I guess he would have been our
So
4th. So
what I will say about this team is it's a very much an upside team.
Yeah.
Everyone with the exception of the New England exposure
Yeah.
and potentially Ty Chandler is top tier offense.
Yeah.
Kansas City,
Yep.
Colts should be much better this year. Detroit, obviously,
Right.
Buffalo, Jets should be much better this year. Obviously, the Dallas, Philly stuff.
Dallas, Philly. Yeah.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Houston. Yeah.
Just offenses that should just be top 10, top 12 for sure.
And that's what you and I talk about is targeting top offenses, correlating with top offenses.
Yeah. And so this is the type of team, and also it's very young, not just like some of the rookies we got,
Yeah.
but like guys like Khalil Shakir, guys like Ty Chandler, guys like Rico Dowd. And so this is the type of team, Jameson Williams, obviously, this is the type of team that would not surprise me, to struggle a little bit in the regular season. We might have to squeak into the playoffs in the 2 spot, but could be much better come playoff time when some of these guys are more established.
Yeah, no, if this team makes playoffs, it could be fun. Frank says, thanks for the draft. Thank you for joining us. Let's check out Frank's team. So King of Kings was in the 4th spot. 2, 6, 7, 3. We kind of saw. No fan said, "Wow, King of Kings is hammering the receivers," and he did. And the good thing is he stopped at 7 because when you hammer receivers, you don't draft 8 or 9. So he did the right thing. You drafted the smart way to do a 0 RB team by stopping then at 7. So 2, 6, 7, 3, and then obviously if you're doing a 0 RB and you're kind of waiting so long on running back, you need to get at least 6. So he did the absolute right thing there, and I love that. And I love his stacks that he stacked his first 2 receivers with Purdy and Tua. So he's got 2, 6, 7, 3, Purdy, Tua, James Conner, Tajay Spears, Kendre Miller, Ray Davis, Antonio Gibson, Donta Foreman, and then Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Deontay Johnson, Troy Franklin, and then George Kittle, Jonnu Smith, and our guy, Jatavion Sanders. I like it. Frank getting that Jatavion Sanders action. Love it. No, I like this a lot. Again, like there's a right and wrong way to do certain builds, the beautiful part about best ball is you can draft different styles in different ways and still have 6 ways to draft. And you did a 0 RB the right way. And obviously your receiver room is super strong. Your stacks are super strong, but no, you then kind of hammered running back and love your tight ends too. And he correlated his tight ends too. I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things too, Steve. If you're able to correlate the tight ends too. We talk about all the time, correlating at different positions, not just receiver or not just, he was able to correlate at receiver and tight end. And I love being able to correlate a tight end, especially if it's at value, which he did. Look at the value you got. Sure. Kittle at 76. And then Jonnu, he got like right around his ADP. But I mean, that's like late round, 17th round or something like that. So absolutely love that. Any thoughts on King of Kings before?
Well, just incredible to get that kind of San Francisco trio. And, to get him kind of add value. Where did he get just curious? I think he maybe even got Purdy a couple of picks.
He got him at 100.
Oh, he took him early.
He wouldn't have gotten him.
He took Tua a couple of picks after ADP. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Knew one of them were. But yeah, I mean, getting that San Francisco trio, one of the most condensed and elite offenses in the league.
Yeah.
You're going to get essentially so much of the touchdowns that McCaffrey doesn't get, which is still a lot. As we saw, Ayuk's obviously there as well. But, Deebo and Kittle are just incredible weapons. Purdy, he had one of the highest number of 20-point games last year. I think he had 9, which is, I think that was the same number as Jalen Hurts. He got essentially, now Hurts obviously had some higher ceiling games, but what you're looking for is 20+ point games from your quarterback. And Purdy was doing that. And that was also with his weapons game banged up. Deebo missed 3 games. Ayuk missed a game. Kittle missed a game. Yeah. So, and now they're deeper. And if they're healthier, boy, that could look real good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Noel Fan was from the 7th spot. He went 3-5-8-2. I won't be mad at him that he took Kirk Cousins from us. No, I'm kidding. And Will Levis, but we weren't going to get Will Levis. It's the same week 5 bye. But he got some of my favorite guys here, and I love that. So 3-5-8-2. He got Kirk Cousins, Will Levis, Derek Carr, Bijan Robinson, obviously correlated with Kirk, Kyron Williams. So he did a double here, running back as well. Najee Harris, love that. Nick Chubb, Tank Bigsby. I love his running back room. Chris Olave, Tank Dell, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, Brandon Cooks, Josh Palmer, Ricky Pearsall, A.T. Perry, and then Dalton Kincaid, Hunter Henry. Yeah, you did everything right too. You got an early tight end, so you just grabbed another one late with upside like Henry. And then, excuse me, love that running back room. Got the 2 early, and then probably should have did something similar, like grabbing that Najee range to get like a 3rd solid one. Then he got Chubb as his 4th, and then Tank Bigsby. So love his running back room. And then, obviously correlated Kirk and Bijan and Levis and Hopkins and Carr and A.T. Perry. So still got like all the correlation, and just love like kind of the build structure.
Well, you had Olave also for Carr.
Oh yeah, thank you. He had Olave and A.T. Perry. So yeah, love his stacks and correlation. Love the way he built smartly. Yeah, love this team, Steve. I don't know. Our competition.
No, I think that's a very well-rounded team, because like just talked about, the concerns with Chubb is when you don't have that strong 3rd running back. That's why I wasn't as high on him, but he has that. He's got 3 clear starters. If Chubb ends up being a bust, it's not going to hurt him that much, as long as those 3 guys can stay pretty healthy.
Exactly.
And if Chubb is anywhere near, if Chubb's 80% of
then the
what Chubb
upside
is from the past, the upside is incredible. So
yeah, to give him as your 4th when you have a strong 3rd, and that was our problem in hindsight. Maybe we bagged the Goddard pick, get a solid 3rd running back. So I don't know, Steve. No Fan and King of Kings might be taking this one from us.
Yeah, no, I definitely like both teams. But I love, with King of Kings, that 49er stack is so impressive. But I love the correlation here, and the way that running back room is built, because I still think that's one of the biggest weaknesses with people who draft on Underdog, is they devalue the running back position. And yet that is what's going to be in your flex. You're going to have the highest point outcome by having a good running back room to fill your flex over receivers, pretty much week in, week out.
Yeah, Sam Sherman from ETR has done some data on that. I know Pat from Fantasy Dog Pound has done that for weekly winners, doing like your build, so like a double hero, or so 3 strong running backs, so that you're like, I want to say it was like 60 or 70% that running back was hitting the flex on weekly winners. Now, yes, that's weekly winners, not the classic, but like I know Sam Sherman's done it for classic too. And it's definitely more in weekly winners, but it's still, a higher percent of the time, ideally, it's hitting, the running backs hitting, and that helps a lot. So to Steve and I's point, that's why we like to get like a really strong 3rd option, right? And why we typically like to build 1-3-5-1 if we're getting a tight end in the first 10 rounds, to have that 3rd strong, like keep the receiver pacing. You get an early quarterback, but you still feel really good about those three running backs. So yeah, like what both guys did there. But hey, even if they take it from us, it was a fun draft. And I still like our team, even though I think I like their teams better. But
like I said, I think our team is one we're going to have to maybe squeak in to get to the playoffs. But if we get into the playoffs, it's a team that could really make a run. With those young guys.
Oh, for sure. Oh, definitely. Yeah, no. And I do like the upside of our stacks too, with having obviously the Hurts stack. Then you have a Rodgers stack, who we're so high on. And then Drake May is all upside too. That's an upside.
Absolutely.
Play
but
too.
We have very well, Philly Dallas could be the stack to win it all. We've seen that over the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
That their matchups have been a shootout 3 of the 4 times, and even the 4th time, Dallas still scored a lot of points. Philly just couldn't keep up.
Remember, they were the semifinals game of the BBM3. Remember, because I had a massive Dak stack. I didn't have any Philly run backs. It was a week 16 in the semifinals, but I needed that game, and it went off. Was it when Hurts was out?
Yeah,
and Gardner Minshew. So even with Gardner Minshew, it still was a shootout. So
yeah. So, we're just talking two of the best offenses in the league, and yeah, absolutely can shoot out. So
yeah.
if we can make it to the finals with this team, it could have the thing we want, and we hit it multiple ways. I mean, 3 Dallas pieces, 3 Philly pieces. So,
Yeah.
And that's tough to do. Granted, we didn't get Lamb, we didn't get Brown or Smith, but
That's right.
it could be a Rico Dowd gets the touchdown. It could be both tight ends hit, one's in the flex or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it could be Jalen Tolbert is the week 17 hero,
Yeah. You never know.
We see it all the time.
You never know. All right. Any final thoughts for the people before we get out of here? You're working on an article that'll be up, I believe, tonight. And any other final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think it was a fun draft, interesting, definitely different strategy with us, but that's the whole point. Try different strategies and find ways to make them work. I think people can draft different ways. It's about making it work.
Absolutely.
Sure, there's optimal ways to approach anything, but you can still find ways to make it work. And like Kings with starting very wide receiver heavy, similar to the BBM winner last year, but then you start hitting some running backs, you hit the quarterbacks, tight end as he did, and you still find a way to make it work the correct way.
Yeah, absolutely. And your article will be similar to last week, covering the NFC kind of RB2 situations and how to handle those, right? Because you covered it's on fanspeak.com. Check out Steve's article about the AFC, kind of how do we handle these crowded backfields. Now you're covering the NFC this week, and that should be up tonight. Okay. So awesome. And again, check out our stuff on fanspeak.com. Check out more live drafts this week on Fanspeak Network. Andrew and Justin will be tomorrow night, and then Spread is filling in for me Friday with a weekly winners, and then we'll be back with a lot more exciting Friends of Best Ball live streams coming soon. So look for a lot more exciting stuff coming. Thank you so much for joining us. For Steve, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.